Hello everybody, and welcome to a new Let's Play on the channel, second Let's Play. Last time we did Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, and this time we're doing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. And now you may be asking, what the fuck is this? This isn't Explorers of Sky, what's going on? That's right, this is not a Let's Play of Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, which might as well be, you know, the only game in the entire series to most people. This is actually a playthrough of Explorers of Darkness, and in case you weren't aware, in 2008, I believe in America, we got the sequels to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red and Blue Rescue Team. We got Explorers of Time and Explorers of Darkness. And, you know, I could have just done a Let's Play of Explorers of Sky, as if there aren't 20 billion of those on YouTube. But, you know, I figured I might as well keep it a little interesting, and you may be asking, why Darkness over Time? And one, it's because this is actually the copy of Explorers I grew up with. I grew up with Darkness version and played a whole fucking lot as a kid. And there's another reason we'll get to later for why I chose this. Anyway, let's get into it. Of course, I'm gonna go into this, like, this series is just gonna assume you probably know what Mystery Dungeon is, so I don't think I'm gonna be explaining that much. I'm not gonna be putting that much focus on the story, because, like, let's be real, if you're playing this, or if you're, you know, you're watching this, you probably already know the story, and probably have already played the game. Or at the very least, like, you know, watched a YouTuber or some shit played it, in which case, what are you doing? You haven't played it, go fucking play it, this game's great. Anyway, so let's do the test. I'm just gonna answer these honestly, and we're just gonna get whatever starter we get. You hear a rumor that might make you rich, what do you do? Oh, well, I'm gonna be real. I have a big mouth and I never shut the fuck up, so I'd probably tell people. I don't get bothered by noise and ruckus, I really do. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna reset for a starter, except for if I get one particular one. For personal preference reasons, but we'll get there. Anyway, packing classroom snacks for a picnic when you get hungry, what do you do? I hold myself back. I can restrain myself. I'm not that fat, you know. Or accidentally revealed a personal secret that someone shared to you. I don't think so. You get injured a lot? Not really. Final mile of a marathon. Well, I'm not that fat, but I'm fat enough that I'm not running a fucking marathon. Jesus Christ. But, I guess I'd hang in there and finish. I mean, I've been that far along. I might as well finish it. Eating at a restaurant when you abruptly realize everyone's gone. I mean, yeah, pretty much. I just keep eating. I mean, I am kind of fat. Anyway, how do you blow up a balloon? You see, it's been a minute since I played Darkness compared to Sky. I want to say the personality quest has some different questions here. Aside from the obvious ones, Sky starts their personality quest with, have you played Time in Darkness before? And what that does is if you say yes, it gives you questions new to Sky that are weighted in favor of giving you the new starters to add it to Sky, and it also makes a handful of Pokemon have a higher recruitment chance to join the team, which is kind of weird, which means there's basically no reason to not say yes to that question, although if you don't want one of the new starters, then you have to, you know, reset the quiz a whole lot, because you're gonna get a lot of questions pushing you towards getting, like, Riolu and fucking, like, Eevee, Phanpy, Shinx. Anyway, how do you blow up a balloon? I guess big, but not too big, you know, I'm a centrist. And male or female, well, I'm a dude, so let's just pick male. So, the funny thing is that actually does matter, because females are just objectively better than males in this game, and that's because Female Pokemon actually have increased accuracy and evasion, and male Pokemon have increased critical hit chances. And the increased accuracy and evasion is kind of insane because accuracy problems are very real in this game. You will miss your attacks all of the goddamn time. And it really, really sucks. So, unironically, the best way to play is to have a team full of females to mitigate the accuracy problems. But this is just going to be like a pretty casual playthrough. Mostly pretty casual, you know. So I don't really care about that. It's not like the game's unplayable if you're not just doing the meta. It's a fucking, you know, single-player children's game that's, you know, probably older than most fans of Mystery Dungeon. But, anyway, Aura. We gotta scan our Aura. So, let me put my fingertip on my completely real screen of my completely real DS that I'm definitely recording this off of right now, and I'm not emulating. Nah, jokes aside, I'm just playing this on Melon DS, what do you expect? And it's a bit of a shame because, let's see, Gentle Mint Green. Fucking mint. Mint is fucking disgusting, by the way. If you like mint as a flavor, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, I actually do own this game physically still. I still have this game from when I was a kid. And honestly, I would just, you know, back up my save file on that and just record it. If I had, like, a capture card or something for my DS, which I would really like to have one, but I don't. And I am not in a monetary situation to justify getting one, so... And this is also, like, 10 fucking times easier to just emulate. It was a bit of a headache setting up this little dual screen setup I got going on. Big ups to my Brody Nick for helping me set all this up, by the way. AKA doing half of it for me. But it turned out really, really good. Anyway, going to be the hardy type. I don't remember which one that is, but let's see. You don't whine or feel sorry for yourself, and you never need help with anything. Well, it's funny, it says that literally not even like 10 seconds after I just said, you know, big ups to my friend for helping me set up this whole overlay I got going on. Fuck's sake. Work towards your goals steadily and never require attention along the way. Uh-oh. Not true. I'm a lazy bastard. Anyway. The hardy determined type like you, Torchic. You know what? Sure. I don't know if I've ever used Torchic before in this game. Not my first choice for sure, but let's do it. And who's the partner gonna be? I mentioned earlier there was one Pokemon that I would reset for if I got, and it's Trico. No offense to Trico fans. That might sound weird because Trico's pretty damn good in this game. But I'm gonna be real, I just think Trico is really ugly and I don't want to play as it. It's as shrimple as that. The partner for Torchic. Well, Torchic is a fire type, so... Funny, I just said I don't like Trico, because that would be a pretty decent partner for this, just because he's a grass type. My preferred team when I play this, I like to play as Piplup, and then have the partner be Turtwig, but... I think we're gonna do Chikorita as the partner, actually. I'm not sure how good Chikorita is. The name, I mean, normally when I play this, I just leave the partner name unchanged, but... Chico. I mean, it's extremely fucking basic, there's no thought put behind it, but... Yeah, I'm not very good with naming, it's whatever, but anyway. I know for, like, speedruns, for trying to get all recruits in the game, in Explorers of Sky, they will use Chikorita as the partner, and that's because... Chikorita is part of IQ group either B or H, I don't remember which one, but it means it gets the Fast Friend IQ skill, which, you know, is required to recruit Kecleon. But, I'm getting a little ahead of myself talking about IQ groups here, because, you know, IQ skills and stuff like that are not going to be relevant for quite a while. I think a lot of this Let's Play is not going to be really focusing on the story all that much, but rather, I'm going to be focusing on talking about the actual gameplay and the mechanics, because I've noticed that a lot of PMD fans, like... I've seen an alarming amount of people say they love PMD and they love Explorers, and they love it for the story, and I love this game for the story too, don't get me wrong, but, like, I've seen an alarming amount of people say how much they love this game and how much they love the story, and then say that they hate the gameplay, and that's, like, the part that breaks it for them and makes them not want to play it, and, like, that just kind of makes me scratch my head, because, like, what the hell are you talking about, man? The gameplay, it's not the best game ever, but I fucking love this game for its story and for its gameplay. Even if, you know, it has some balance issues, but at the same time, like, it's a single-player game, so who gives a shit if it's unbalanced, really? To an extent. I don't know. It's the type of game where, like, when you know what you're doing, this game is trivially easy. the point of kind of being a joke, which is actually part of the reason that we're playing this on Darkness. Again, that will come up later, whenever I find a good time to mention it, but the game is definitely going to be a little harder because I'm playing on Darkness, and we'll see why eventually. Of course, the beginning while of the game is just going to be a lot of cutscenes and, you know, just setting up the story, really, which is kind of what kills the game for me on repeat playthroughs, is that the game is very front-loaded with... Not even front-loaded, there's just a lot of cutscenes in the very beginning, and then a lot of cutscenes through the rest of the game, but the beginning of the game is just packed with cutscenes, and I mean, it's a game with a pretty heavy story focus, so I get it, but it can definitely make it kind of annoying to do a repeat playthrough where, you know, you just want to get to the good part where you can actually just start going through dungeons and just grinding and just doing whatever you want, but it takes quite a while before this game finally lets you off the leash, I feel like, you know. I guess I can't get all that mad, though, because, I mean, playing through this game again is always a treat, just because it's one of my favorite games of all time, of course. Time, Darkness, or Sky, doesn't matter what version. This will always, always, always be one of my favorite games. I mean, you probably guessed this because I'm playing it. I am a huge fan of this game. I mean, I love this game for a lot of the same reasons other people do. Like the story, the music in particular, is very emotionally touching. This song in particular still melts my man-child heart a little bit. Maybe it's unbecoming of me to say that as a fucking grown-ass 24-year-old man, you know, but I don't know, hearing some of these songs still makes me feel a little emotional, just because of all the nostalgia, of course. That, and, you know, they're just really good songs. That, I didn't realize it would cut the music out so soon. I just wanted to listen for a bit. This is one of my favorite songs in the game, the On the Beach at Dusk theme. So good, man. I can't think of any songs from this game that I like. Okay, I can think of one song from this game that I actually dislike. It annoys the shit out of me, but we won't be hearing that one for a really, really long time, so it doesn't matter. But this game's got a great soundtrack, of course. I don't know. I'm not sure what kind of praise I can give this game that hasn't already been given to it, like, you know, 20,000 times over. Which is kind of something that I was, like... This was a game I was really looking forward to playing, right? Last time we played Harmony of Dissonance on the channel. Because some friends, like, the reason I even started recording these is because some friends pushed me into doing it. They're like, oh, you'd be, you know, you're really entertaining to listen to. I love listening to you rant about shitty games or just talk about, you know, interesting stuff in games or whatever. You'd be really good at just talking over a game while playing it. And I was like, I mean, fuck, if you think so, then I can give, you know, doing a Let's Play a try. Even if Let's Plays aren't that popular on YouTube anymore, I'll try it. And I think the Harmony of Dissonance one, other than the first episode, came out pretty good. But, it wasn't my first choice. It was between Explorers of Darkness, Harmony of Dissonance, and a couple other games. I was asking friends which one they'd like to see me do first the most. And, well, I just got told to do Harmony of Dissonance first, but I was honestly planning to do this as my first Let's Play, and honestly, I'm pretty glad I held off on it, because the Harmony of Dissonance Let's Plays, I think, a little rough around the edges because it's my first try. I mean, it's only, as of recording this, it's only been, like, 2-3 weeks since I finished that up. So, it's not like I've gotten that much better, I don't think, but I'm more confident now, you know. I don't know, I'm just rambling at this point. Anyway, name, well, just name myself. Yeah, just Moth, yeah. It didn't really matter that I named myself Moth in Harmony of Dissonance, because the save file name is completely irrelevant unless we're trying to play as, like, Maxim or do hard mode, but we're actually going to be seeing the game very frequently. I'm sorry, we're going to be seeing the name very frequently in this game, so it actually kind of matters, you know? I'm not going to use my real name because, I mean, I'm just not going to. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I held off on doing this Let's Play and letting, like, you know, doing Harmony of Dissonance first, because, again, I was really looking forward to recording this one, because this is a game that means a whole lot to me. And, like, you know, I was hesitant to do a Let's Play on this at the same time, because there's so many Explorers Let's Plays out there that are, like, kind of just following the same script, almost. If that makes sense? Like, I don't know. I feel like Explorers Let's Plays and playthroughs have been done on YouTube so much that it kind of just records itself in a way. I feel that way more so about, like, mainline Pokemon games like Pokemon Diamond, or fucking, I don't know, like, Pokemon White or something. Like, those are games that if I did a Let's Play of those, like, half of the game just writes itself. I feel like, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked. My point is, on one hand, I feel like there's not much new I could say to make a Let's Play of this game any interesting. But at the same time, because I want to focus on, you know, the gameplay aspect, and I want to talk about the mechanics and the strategies and that kind of stuff, I feel like maybe there is something interesting I can bring to the table here, so I hope this ends up being interesting, you know. I feel like so many people, like I said, just say they outright don't like the gameplay and only want to play for the story, and like I honestly resent that mentality. I want to play this, like, I want to play this game because the story's good, and more importantly, because I think the game is fun as fuck. I mean, let's just disable the touchscreen. Doesn't really matter. Top screen, team stats. Some people will tell you the optimal top screen setup is map and team, but they would be wrong. Team stats goes in the bottom, and the map goes on the bottom screen. Or team stats goes on the top screen, and then bottom screen has the clear map. Speed to fast, of course. When I was younger playing this, I would always just play on regular speed, and I was like... One day I was just like, wait a minute, what the fuck am I doing? This is painfully slow. I just set it to fast. Bar of pals can be set to self, because if you're getting separated from your teammates, they're probably just going to die anyway. You don't need to get stopped every step. This other shit's good. Let's take a look at what we got to work with. Growl and Scratch. Just set that real quick. Echo and Growl. We don't need Growl activated because there's no point in it. Items. Of course, as a fire starter, decent starting stats. Blaze with the ability, of course. Not surprising. Everything. Yeah. Hickory's got Overgrow, of course. I mean, neither of us are anything special. We're level 5 starter Pokemon, like, no shit. You have to be strong. Wow. Now that I think about it, are there... There's a handful of different lines of dialogue when you talk to your partner. And something interesting about this game is that this is something that wasn't translated that well into the English language versions of the game, but basically there are several sets of partner dialogue throughout the game. Like, based on which partner you get, their speech mannerisms are different, and apparently in the Japanese version this is much more prominent, but it didn't translate that well into English. But you can still see there are some lines of dialogue throughout the story. There's, like, you know, the same thing, really, but just phrased differently based on which partner you have. It's interesting. I don't know if that extends to the dungeon dialogue as well. What I'm also curious about is, I don't know if this dialogue is different based on the point we were at in the story. No telling what's in story, let's go carefully. I think that one's normal, I don't know. Just an interesting little observation. Now, this early dungeon... I mean, these early several dungeons, obviously, are kind of just a joke because... Well, it's like the first 2 or 3 dungeons in the game. Obviously, everything has to be really weak so you can actually, you know, beat them. Yeah. Just, going on. I was debating on what starter I wanted to use. I was thinking if I should just do the test and just take whatever I get, or if I should, like, just reset until I get a specific one, because something interesting about this game compared to Explorers of Sky is that Sky added several starters. It added Shinx, Eevee, Riolu, Fampy, and Vulpix, and it actually wasn't just those 5, I believe, it added. And this game had 3 starters that kind of didn't return. That being... Well, they all did return in a way, so... One of them is Skitty, which... In Explorers of Sky, Skitty is a starter still, but it's female only, which was the same in Rescue Team. Skitty was female only, yet... In this game, surprisingly... I'm definitely gonna take that. Surprisingly, Skitty in this game, you can actually be a male or female Skitty, because there are some starters that are gender-locked. You know, that's like one of the other important things when it asks for your gender, is it determines which starter set you're gonna get. And in this game, Skitty is actually male and female only. I was heavily considering playing through this as male Skitty, because Skitty is just a really fucking fun starter. It's very unique and pretty strong, but... I just figured, nah, let's just take whatever we can get and roll with it. Got Razor Lift, a very, very good move super early on. A ranged stab move, nothing to complain about there. Anyway, the other 2 starters, there is Munchlax and Meowth, which are still in Sky, but they're only selectable as partners. But in this game, they were actually playable for the player. And Meowth is not all that special because it was already a playable starter in Rescue Team, where it was okay. If you played Rescue Team, you probably know that Skitty is just far and beyond the most overpowered starter in that game, because it gets moves like Double Slap very, very early. Attract is famously really fucking broken in that game. Skitty's still strong here, but it's definitely toned down. Meanwhile, Meowth had similar strengths. It got moves like Screech and Fury Swipes, which are very strong, but it learned them way later. So it functions similarly to Skitty, just not as efficiently because you had to wait a lot longer to get access to these broken options, whereas Skitty gets everything it could ever want by like level 15. Meowth in this game definitely seems better. I've never used Meowth as a starter in this game, but it seems a lot better because those important moves like Screech and Fury Swipes, it learns them much earlier. In case you're not aware, the level up learn sets in Rescue Team, they're based off of Fire Red and Leaf Green specifically. And in Explorers of Sky, the level up sets, they're based off of Platinum specifically. However, Time of Darkness released before Platinum did, which means this game's learn sets are actually based off of Diamond and Pearl. It's important to note. Though a lot of Pokemon did not get very significant learn set differences between the games, I don't think. Some of them got their learn sets pretty overhauled, but that's pretty rare. A lot of them, like the starters, are pretty much the same. Maybe they like get one or two moves, or like they learn some moves in a different order. And anyway, the last of them is Munchlax, which is definitely the most interesting one. I've never used Munchlax all the way through the game either, but skimming through its learn set seems okay. You get some interesting stuff like Recycle, which is very good for, you know, recycling TMs. They get stuff like Body Slam, which is decent, I assume. They get Screech, which is really, really good. But most importantly, Munchlax starts with Metronome, which means kind of regardless of how good or bad Munchlax is, it has Metronome, which means you're going to have a lot of, like, chaotic fun. Just picking Metronome, just seeing what random shit happens, right? And I was heavily considering doing either Skitty or Munchlax to please through this, but I figured, nah, let's just, you know, see what we got. And, I mean, Torchic is a pretty plain vanilla starter, but it'll still be fun. Anyway, we picked up that Blast Seed earlier. Cool trick you can do in this fight, because if you throw the Blast Seed at Zubat, you just take it out in one hit. That's like the only time Blast Seeds are at any use at all in this game. Blast Seeds honestly fucking suck. They were a lot better in Rescue Team, I feel like, where they were still not very good. The Coughing goes down super easy. This first fight is, as you might expect, kind of a joke, because it's literally the first boss. No, I don't think Blast Seeds are very good as an item. They just do so little damage, and if you use them against bosses, well, that might have only been a Rescue Team thing. They would do less damage against bosses. I don't know if that's still in Explorers, because I never use Blast Seeds because they kind of suck, but yeah, that's probably the only time you're ever going to see a Blast Seed get used, other than, like, if the inventory's full and I happen to step on one and I just, like, chuck it at an enemy or something, you know? Anyway, we got the Relic Fragment back from Coughing and Zubat. Easy peasy. Back on the beach, of course. And time for, you know, another 20 minutes of cutscenes before the next dungeon. Again, I can't get too mad, though. It's, you know, the beginning of the game. Gotta establish the lore and shit. I did kind of appreciate Rescue Team more for just how quickly you can get into the game and start playing, but again, I get it. Game went a lot heavier on the story focus, and it paid off, because this game's story is good, which I've said about 3 times, except this is another thing we'll get to way later down the line, but this game's story really has its issues, especially in the post-game. This story is far from perfect. I think people overrate the story of this game too much, and I love it, don't get me wrong, and I'm very nostalgic for it, but, like, there's some really, really stupid shit that happens in this story, and some parts of it are just written badly, but overall it's still good. It's just that, like, a lot of the story of this game is kind of dissatisfying in a weird way. I'll explain what I mean when we get there. Let's just keep going. I'm glad this song plays again in the beginning. I already said it, but I fucking love this song so much. This might be my favorite song from the soundtrack of the game. Excluding dungeon themes, is probably my favorite song. This song gets me emotional. There's so much nostalgia for this game. This is kind of what I meant earlier when I said I feel like, you know, I didn't say it exactly like this, but I feel like doing a Let's Play of Explorers is kind of beating a dead horse, because you can only watch somebody say, like, oh my god, I love this game, I love the story, it makes me so emotional, like, so many times, right? Even if it's true, I really do feel all those things. Also, nah, I'm not gonna be cheeky and say no, let's just form a team. I'm gonna be nice. I find it amusing, though, that Explorers of Sky, they added the third little dialogue chain there where you can just, like, tease this person over and over again and just be rude to them. Although, I gotta say, Rescue Team did the whole, like, being playfully rude stuff a little better. There's way less cutscenes in that game, but, like, the interactions you can have with your partner character in that game are very amusing. And feels like the player and the partner and Rescue Team have, like, they have a very good, like, I don't want to say bromance, but, like, they have a very enjoyable and amusing friendship that is kind of realistic, I feel like. Which isn't, you know, isn't not the case in this game, but the partner character in this game is very different than the partner character in the first game. I mean, in a way, the partner character in this game kind of has an arc. I don't think it's a very complete story arc, really. I don't know, I'm not an expert. Anyway, this first episode, this is probably going to be a long one. The Harmony of Dissonance first episode was like 50 minutes, kind of just because I played until I got bored, and then just, you know, posted the whole thing. I mean, this is going to be long, just because a lot of it is going to be going through the opening cutscenes. Anyway, if you're astute, and you've played Explorers of Sky before, you probably noticed that, in Explorers of Sky, the little chapter card that shows there, there's actually background art for everyone in the game. Based on, you know, whatever chapter it is, there's, like, a unique little backdrop to set the scene, but in this game, chapters, they don't have any backgrounds, just the chapter text, a little red underline, and then just the name of the chapter, which is kind of boring. It's kind of like in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, you go to, like, you know, you enter an area and it has the area name show up, and it's just on a white background, but in Pokemon Platinum, when you do it, there's like a special little design instead of a white background based on what kind of area you enter. Neat stuff. Yeah, it's just a cosmetic little thing they add in the third versions to make stuff look a little nicer, you know? And it's kind of weird because, like, I'd say, like, this may be a controversial opinion, but with Pokemon Emerald and, like, Pokemon Platinum and, like, Pokemon Crystal, especially Pokemon Crystal, those are the third definitive versions of the games. And I feel like they don't entirely obsolete their originals. Like, I feel like there's some kind of reason to go back to the originals. Maybe not in the case of Ruby Sapphire or Diamond and Pearl, because Emerald and Platinum are pretty big improvements, but, like, especially with Gold and Silver, I'd honestly prefer to play Gold and Silver over Crystal. You know, there's just a handful of differences in, like, version exclusives, and some changes are kind of annoying. I don't know, my ultimate point I'm getting at here is that this is not a case of that. I'll admit, Explorers of Sky completely 100% obsoletes Time and Darkness as games. Like, there is basically no reason to ever play Time and Darkness, like, ever again, as anything other than a curiosity, basically, which is kind of the reason why I'm playing it here, funny enough, is because I imagine a lot of PMD fans maybe have never even, like, seen Time and Darkness before, as opposed to Sky, because, again, Sky is a game that just entirely obsoletes Time and Darkness. It is an objective improvement in, like, literally every single possible metric. There's no reason, in terms of gameplay, to play Sky. I'm sorry, to not play Sky. You know, it's like, it's interesting. I can't think of many other interesting, I can't think of any other, oh my god, I'm stumbling over my fucking words. I'm a little tired. I can't think of any other instances where there are games like that, because you have games like Zelda Link's Awakening, for example. That game has its Game Boy original, and then it has the remake, and I mean, like, DX, not, you know, the fucking Switch remake. I don't know anything about that one, but, like, you have DX, which seems like just an improvement, adds more content, fixes some glitches, just makes the game slightly more polished, and adds color and looks nicer, but, like, it's definitely a more polished game, and it has more content, but the thing with Link's Awakening original on Game Boy is that that game has the screen warping glitch, which is very, very powerful, and basically enables you to play the game in an entirely new way. And so basically my point here is that despite DX being an improvement in a lot of ways, it does not obsolete the original Game Boy version, and there's still plenty of reasons to play it. And again, just to get back to my point, this is not really the case for Time and Darkness vs. Sky. Sky is just a better game. And of course, you're probably aware that reviewers fucking hated this game and rated it super poorly. Because if you see the infamous IGN reviewer, they gave the game like a 4 or something, and they said it was shit and it was too similar to Time and Darkness. Their screenshots and, like, footage end up to Apple Woods, which is the 4th dungeon in the game, I'm sorry, the 5th dungeon in the game, which means they played no more than, like, 3 hours into the game, said that it was too similar, and then just stopped playing and gave it a poor rating. you know, fucking journalists. I'm rambling a whole lot, because, oh, I mean, important stuff is happening in the cutscene, yeah, but there's nothing I feel the need to note, so I'm kind of just rambling on and on and on. Anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a long episode for sure. Not sure how long. Maybe I'll cut the recording after the second dungeon ends. It'll be quite a while before we just get free reign to start doing whatever we want. And I gotta say, something that bothers me here is that window on the right over there. It's supposed to be looking outside, and yet it's just completely white. Looking out there, there's like no texture out there. You can't see the ocean or the sky or anything, and it's something that kind of bothers me when I notice it. It's really not a fucking big deal, though. Who really cares? You know? Okay, enter. It's Wigglytuff, of course. And I guess Chatot is also here, you know. Team name. Yeah, I didn't think about a team name either. I'm really shit at naming, seriously. I could be super basic and, like, do some shit like, oh, I have a fire type and a grass type. I'm gonna name my team, like, Fire Leaf or some stupid shit like that. But, like, no, I don't like that. Okay, let's do team. Team Chicks. Because I'm playing as Torchic, and my partner is Chick Arita. See, that's pretty genius, isn't it? It is perfect. Oh my god, I'm so fucking smart. It's like the fastest I've ever come up with a name. My brain is like pulsating today. But, I'm playing PMD on my own. I think the team name, I haven't used this one in a long time, actually, but I remember the one I always used to use back in the day was Team Velvet. I don't remember why. I remember my old, like, Animal Crossing New Leaf town from, like, 2018, I also named that Velvet. Anyway, another difference here from Sky is in Explorers of Sky, when you get the, like, starter kit for your exploration team, it has, like, a special little CG art that shows up of, you know, the chest and the stuff in it, but nope, that's not here in this game. Scene feels like it's missing a little something because of that, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah, there is a lot of stuff missing from this game compared to Sky, and I will be pointing it out as we go along, because some of the missing things are extremely, extremely huge. Minty Bow. Oh, hell nah. In case you didn't know, the little, like, aura bow you get, first of all, you probably knew this, but in the beginning of the game, when you scan your aura during the personality test, the only thing it checks is it just checks what the system color is. But because if you remember correctly, on Nintendo DS, you can set a nickname and you can set a color for the UI. And games would use these sometimes. But, yeah, this game, it checks the system color, and that is the color of your aura, which corresponds to the color of your bow. And the color of the bow, like, doesn't actually matter. All the colored bows have the same effect. Which is to say they're all dog shit. And when we get into the next dungeon, I will show why that is. Well, not something I can really show, per se, but yeah, I'll just say right now, the gist is that basically what the aura bow does is it's supposed to just give +1 to all stats, which is honestly pathetic. Because we also got the defense scarf, which gives +10 to defense. So, like, getting +1 to all stats is literally nothing. The problem is, it's also broken. I don't remember this applied to Time and Darkness, but there's a glitch with the aura bow where basically, I believe it's supposed to give +1 to special attack. I don't remember the exact explanation, but basically it accidentally gives +1 special attack to all enemies, which means it effectively actually reduces your special defense to wear the aura bow. So, on top of having, like, negligent stat games, like, it also is just actively detrimental to wear. Not so detrimental you'll just screw yourself over by trying to wear it, but, like, it's a detriment nonetheless. So the aura bow is absolutely terrible, and you should just ditch it in favor of a real held item, like the fucking second you get a power band, or like fucking like X-ray specs later down the line or something like that. Yeah, funny stuff. You'd think the aura bow is good, but no, it's fucking ass. Do not bother with it. Oh yeah, something else. I just remembered. The save times in this game are very long compared to Sky. Sky cut down on the save times a lot, but it takes fucking forever to save your game in this game. And, you know, this came out with Diamond and Pearl, and, you know, so it makes sense you have to save a lot of data, you know? Anyway. This would be a good point to stop the video, but... Nah, this would be a pretty fucking boring first episode. You know, just... ignoring the cutscenes and kind of just yapping about whatever the fuck comes to mind after doing one dungeon. Although again, so many cutscenes early in the game, you can't really help it. Let's just get ready to go through this next dungeon after the next round of cutscenes. Also, I gotta say that the little dizzy face portrait for Chikorita is pretty funny looking. Of course, that's something everybody knows about this game, is it has all the character portraits, and they're all super expressive and funny looking. See, I remember when I was a kid playing this, I had an action replay growing up, and so what I would do, I remember my old save file. First of all, it just got me and my partner to level 100, because I was, you know, a dumbass little kid, and I just wanted to cheat. And there's a very weird cheat code you could use, where it's like, when you go to the next floor, if you hold the L button, you, like, change Pokemon or something. And so, I would just go through, like, more than half the game, just changing my Pokemon every single floor. And I remember I did this until I got the Pokemon I wanted for player and partner, and the team I gave myself was the player as Riolu, and the partner is Weasel. I swear to fucking god I'm not a furry. I was really ahead of my time, because well, at this point in time, I think I was aware that Sky existed. I was definitely very late to Sky, because I was playing my copy of Darkness, like, I got my copy of Darkness in probably, like, 2010 or 2011, at which point Sky had already been out for several years. I'm not even sure I knew Sky existed until years after that as well. But I remember in, like, 2013, I was a cringy, like, 11-year-old, and I would play with my fucking Riolu and Weasel and think they were so cool. I swear to god it's a miracle. I did not turn out to be a furry when I grew up. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. I fucking loved Riolu when I was younger, but I'm honestly completely sick of it, and I think PMD fans, like, I think they overrate and just worship Riolu and Eevee way too fucking hard. I know, controversial opinion, but, like, people go apeshit over Riolu and Eevee, and, like, fucking Shinx and Vulpix, too. Those four in particular. Like, holy crap, I'm kind of sick of seeing all of them. Nah, I don't dislike any of the Pokemon, but I gotta say, PMD fans are, like, not that original when it comes to their, you know, OC choices, if you know what I'm saying. So many, like, PMD fan works and artwork and fan comics and whatever the fuck, where it's like, here's my OC fucking, like, Edgeblood the Death Killer, the Riolu, and fucking, like, Minty Shit Sparkle the Vulpix or something, like, well, how original, man. It's like, fucking, like, Riolu and Eevee OCs are the Mystery Dungeon equivalent of Sonic OCs, pretty much, where you just switch around some colors and say, this is fucking, like, Bloodhog the Dick Sucker or something, and he's the strongest character in the universe. Just yapping at this point, man. Holy shit. No, for real. I remember being a kid and playing Sky for the first time by, like, emulating it on my dad's shitty tablet, and wanting to so badly play as Riolu. And for what it's worth, in terms of gameplay, Riolu is really damn good in Sky. It's a really strong starter. And Vulpix is probably the best starter in Sky. Vulpix is really fucking good. Shinx is pretty mediocre, though, and Eevee is, like, Eevee's pretty bad. It's probably, like, Eevee is probably the worst partner character in the game. And, if you want to have the worst team possible, what you do is you pick player Stampy in Sky, which is probably the shittiest starter in the whole Mystery Dungeon series. It's very weak. And you just pair it with an Eevee, and now, there you go, now you have a terrible team. And if you're wondering why Stampy is so bad in Sky, it's because it doesn't learn any ground moves for level up, so it has no stab options, and in case you're not aware, stab is very important in Mystery Dungeon. Stab is, honestly way more important than super effective coverage, because the stab bonus you get is way fucking higher than it is in the mainline Pokemon game, so, like, having, like, a normal type with 4 normal moves is honestly legit, because you'd probably be doing way more damage than if you had, like, you know, status or, like, you know, special moves, like Thunder, shit like Thunderbolt, Blizzard, like, fucking Water Pulse stuff. You'd probably just be better off running 4 water moves. I'm sorry, 4 normal moves. Yeah, Stampy can't take advantage of stab at all, except for it learns Natural Gift, which basically changes type and power based on what consumable, like, seed or berry you're holding. And I believe the strongest possible natural gift is to, like, hold a Revisor seed, which I believe is also ground type, which means you actually get stab, but that also means you have to not have a hold item, which sucks. Speaking of hold items, we'll just slap that minty bow on Chico here. I mean, she's a grass type, she probably likes mint. Yeah, Fampi, it fucking sucks. Doesn't get any good stab moves. In fact, doesn't really get any good moves at all. It's pretty bad. Speaking of pretty bad, this is kind of what I meant when I said girl Pokemon are better than males, because you miss your attacks all the goddamn time in this game. If you've played this game before, you fucking know that. You miss attack constantly. Get another level up though. Focus energy, filler moves, who cares? Another level up. Yeah, Fampi's bad. Eevee is pretty bad because it is a normal typing and it can take advantage of, like, stab normal moves, which is nice. But its learn set is not very good, and it also has runaway, which, if an AI-controlled character has runaway and they drop below, I believe, half health, then they get terrified and just start running away. Which is fucking terrible. It means that if your Eevee drops below half health and starts running, you're probably just screwed, unless you heal it immediately. Yeah, Eevee, not a good partner. And Fampi, really bad starter. But, of course, you know, Fampi and Eevee just aren't selectable in this game at all, so you don't gotta worry. I mean, shit, didn't mean to do that. What was I gonna say? So I'm talking so much, and I'm pretty tired, because it's quite late when I'm recording this, so my brain is a little scattered. This isn't something I'll actually be able to demonstrate, but if you've played Explorers, you probably know that Shellos here has Storm Drain. In case you're not aware for whatever reason, you know, in mainline Pokemon, some Pokemon can have 2 different abilities. In this game, any Pokemon with 2 abilities will have both of those abilities, which means Shellos will always have Storm Drain. This applies to Gastrodon as well. And what that does in Explorers is, any Pokemon in the same room as Shellos that uses a Water-type move, it will just redirect the attack to Shellos, and it will just absorb it and take no damage. But in only Time and Darkness, this applies to the whole floor. If there's a Shellos anywhere on the floor and you use a Water move, it just absorbs it. So if you pick a Water starter, then in the second dungeon, you will immediately fucking notice that's how it works, and it's kinda insane. Speaking of insane, I just got to the first, like, I said earlier that I'm playing Darkness because it will make the game more challenging. This is why. So here I got a Violent Seed, which is a good seed. Boosts your attack and special attack. I believe there's some glitch with the Violent Seed, but I'll explain that some other time when I remember what it is. I'm not really gonna bother editing in an explanation this time, because I'm already trying to explain something else, but basically, Time and Darkness have something unique. Not even Red and Blue Rescue Team did this. There are version-exclusive items. That's right, items like the Violent Seed. The Violent Seed will only spawn in Explorers of Darkness. It is impossible to get it in Explorers of Time unless you use the trade items function with another game. And so you may be thinking, well, you know, that sucks, but what are you talking about? Violent Seed is really good. And yeah, the Violent Seed is really good. The problem is all the other items that are exclusive to Time and Darkness. And the thing is, literally every one of the good items in the game is only in Time. It's kind of fucking insane, actually. Some of the items that are exclusive to Time include the Blizzard TM, the Wide Slash TM. 2 of the most important and useful moves in the entire game are just not accessible in Darkness at all without trading. Several orbs, I believe, like the Bow Hold Orb, which petrifies all foes on the floor. One of the most important and powerful orbs, just not in the game. Several other stuff, a lot of really good TMs, a lot of important orbs. Stuff like the Warp Scarf, which is, like, extremely important for level 1 dungeons, because they let you get out of bad situations. Again, not in Darkness, so you just do not have that option at all if you're trying to do, like, Zero Isle South in this game. It's, like, it's insane. Here, I will just quickly, you know, show some images of the version-exclusive items list. You can find it in Bulbapedia. I'll just show that here right now. And you can just take a look at that. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. I'd say it makes the game harder. It definitely does, because a lot of the important items are missing, but if you know what you're doing, and I do, because, you know, I'm a fucking epic gamer, the game's still not that hard. Like, this isn't gonna be some, like, Kaizo, you know, Ultra Challenge run shit. It's just gonna be TMD, but, you know, we're not gonna have that many good items to work with. Yeah, definitely sucks. Look at all the items here. Speaking of items, goddamn. Another Violent Seed, XI Seed. Yeah, we're getting some really good stuff already. Anyway, another version change that's only in Time and Darkness and not in Sky is the fact that you can see we have our held items equipped right now. And so if you remember in Rescue Team how held items work is that in that game you have 2 pages of inventory space, each with 10 items displayed on it. And then each Pokemon has its own held item slot. So if a Pokemon is holding an item that's not in your inventory, it's in that Pokemon's like personal inventory, if that makes sense. But they changed that for Explorers, so now you can see like the Defense Scarf and Mini Bow here. They're still like considered to be in the inventory, they just have a 1 and 2 next to them to show who's holding what. The problem with that, well, not really the problem with that, but the thing is, there's a weird quirk with that, only in Time and Darkness. They fixed this in Sky, thank God. For some reason, every time you leave a dungeon, your held items, they stay in the bag, but they get unequipped from whoever was wearing them, which means every single time you re-enter a dungeon, you need to equip all your held items back onto everybody in the party again. And it is extremely fucking annoying. Oh my god, it sucks to do that. I have no idea why it's even like this, because again, it wasn't like this in Rescue Team. I'm guessing maybe it's just like sloppy coding, or maybe just an oversight or something. I don't know, it really, really fucking sucks. It's like the worst change, one of the worst changes. And I'm very glad they changed that for Sky, because holy shit, it sucks. Anyway, my god, they give you stuff like Big Apples and Violent Seeds really early. Those are really good items. Although none of the dungeons are really long enough for most of the game to justify using a Big Apple, I don't think. Because a lot of like Petra Berries, but Heal Seeds later on, like, you know, Status Heal Berries are pretty irrelevant. We also get Geo Pebbles, of course, let's set that. It's weird to me that they changed Geo Pebbles, like, you get Graveler Rocks and Red and Blue Rescue Team, and those do a set 20 damage. And I believe Geo Pebbles are also in the game, where they do a set, like, 10 or 15 damage, but they're, like, super fucking rare. Speaking of Heal Seeds, we just got one. But yeah, in this game, you just start off with Geo Pebbles, and you don't get access to Graveler Rocks for quite a while. Geo Pebbles only do 10 set damage, which I guess they thought doing 20 set damage this early in the game was a bit too strong, because enemies this early in the game are extremely weak. I said these early dungeons are easy because the enemies are bad, and it's because their stats at a low level are, like, extremely fucking low. I have, like, 3 times as much health as any of the enemies in this dungeon, and probably, like, you know, twice the stats. Yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying, to be honest, but yeah, it's, yeah, fuck, I actually forgot what I was saying. Talking too much, damn. Anyway. Got a gummy, by the way. Picked that up last floor, and this may seem blasphemous, but I'm gonna eat it just right away. And you might be wondering, like, what the hell are you doing? Wouldn't you want to save that for Spinda's Cafe? You would think so, huh? But we will get to that eventually. And anybody who has actually played Time and Darkness before, you know what you know what's going on with the cafe here, or you know, I should say what isn't going on with the cafe in this game. But again, we will worry about that later. Which for now, let's accidentally fucking misinput right and just use scratch on the wall. Jesus Christ. And then start cringing. I remember when I was a kid playing Rescue Team, because I played Rescue Team for the first time. I had Red and Blue Rescue Team when I was very, very young. I'm out of PP shit. I played Red and Blue Rescue Team when I was a really young kid, probably like 4 or 5 years old, and I remember this was the first time I had ever seen the word cringing before, and I had no idea what the fuck it meant. I remember misreading it as like cringing. I was not a very smart kid. It always bothered me that in this game it's cringing instead of flinching, although it doesn't really make a difference. Throat's sore, I gotta drink some water. Yeah, that's the second dungeon done. And here it is, I think this scene genuinely, like... Oh fuck, we don't have access to storages, we just gotta get rid of an item. Oh, I don't need Petra Berries. I don't remember if it did this in Explorers of Sky, if it made you, like, throw away items entirely at this point in the game. We don't need Petra Berries at all, they just fucking suck. What was I saying? This scene right here, coming up in a little bit, honestly, like, completely mind broke an entire generation. The third Petra Berry, though. And look at that, 2,000 whole dollars for clearing the mission. Wow, we're fucking rich now, except 2,000 is honestly still completely broke. I don't know why they freak out and act like that's a lot of money. There it goes. I want to say that was... I feel like that was supposed to be $3,000 in Sky, but anyway. Here it is. This is the scene that utterly, like, mind broke a generation of children. There it is. My heckin' 90% tax. Holy fucking shit, this place... Oh my god, it's like a sweatshop. Chatot is fucking evil. No, people get so fucking hung up on this. And... I was saying earlier, there's some, like... I wish the story of this game was a little better, and that's kind of what I mean. It doesn't really try with its world building really hard in a lot of places. And because of stuff like that, like, the reason that the tax is so ridiculous on your prize money, right? It's clearly because, you know, the whole point of this is that the guild you're in is supposed to be super brutal, and, like, most recruits just run away within, like, the first week because it's so fucking brutal and they can't do it. It's like boot camp. And something like that is really clearly supposed to reflect it. Like, the rules are super fucking unfair, and there's, like, a middle manager up your ass annoying you, and, like, a huge chunk of your profit just gets taken, and it feels super unfair. That's why it's there. And the reason it's so exaggerated that it's, like, a 90% tax is because, you know, I guess, you know, so even, like, little kid can see that and be like, holy fuck, I'm getting robbed, this is super unfair, right? But I think people get super hung up on that, and they're like, oh my god, how does the world even, like, function if you... Like, you're basically a slave at that point, and 90% of your earnings are given up, and, like, that's kind of what I meant when I said I wish the story was better. That's clearly something they put in just for the sake of it being blatantly unfair, as opposed to something they really thought about, because, like, the logistics of your workplace having a 90% tax is, like, obviously fucking insane and unrealistic and makes no sense. But I just think people get too hung up on that. It's just funny as all. Anyway. Okay, save the game, and then I think that will be it for the first episode, though. So, thank you for watching, and see you next time. Oh my god, I say see you next time, and then it takes an extra 10 seconds to finish saving. Holy shit, I forgot how bad it was in this game. But no, for real, see you next time.